Y'all, I just had this horrible dream. Um, I had a dream that we were somewhere, and these people, they were running as fast as they could. They were screaming, and it turns out they were trying to warn us. And this sheet of ice, it was just, it was just moving forward. They were able to outrun it, but because myself and others who were listening, um, didn't know what they were doing, didn't take it serious, didn't have a clue. It was so quick. This sheet of ice just rolls over us. And the first thing that I notice is that there seems to be like a some kind of a plastic layer between the ice. So when it hits me, I don't initially feel the freezing. And but nevertheless, I thought surely I'm dead. I'm dead. It was just this huge sheet of ice that just was coming through, and it was almost like the Blob, except it was ice, and I thought it was real. So I was I thought we were gone. We just lost our lives, and I couldn't move. I was pinned, and then I was awake enough. I wasn't completely sleeping to question. Wait a second, can I actually move? And so I kind of moved up, and I said, "Oh, wait a second, that was a dream. What's going on?" And I don't fully have um, the interpretation of that dream, but I've prayed for the interpretation, and God hasn't fully given it to me. But the Lord has told me many times through many dreams and visions, prophetic words, and He's told me that His judgment is coming, and His judgment is going to fall on this nation. And we're going to be hit hard, and Americans are going to be shocked when God's judgment falls. And as best as I can tell, this is just another confirmation of God's impending judgment on this nation. The Lord is going to stop child trafficking. He's going to stop the TI program. He's going to stop this push where they're trying to push homosexuality and transitioning children. They're trying to push it on children. God's going to stop all of this wickedness. Physician assisted, which apparently exists in the U.S. in over half of the states now. It's big time in Canada. It's big time in the Netherlands and in many countries in Europe already. And a lot of people are losing their lives. The Lord's going to put a stop to this, because the Lord is going to put a stop to what globalists, the same globalists that put out the Georgia Guidestones to let us know that essentially that they want to reduce the population. God's going to put a stop to all of this wickedness. The rampant abortion, all of it's intended to destroy humanity. And His judgment is going to fall. And one thing that the Lord told me was that when His judgment falls on this nation, it will be quick. It will be quick. And that's how quick it happened in that dream. These men are running, and they're running downhill, and the sheet of ice is not, it's not falling quite as fast as they're running, because they're sprinting and they're screaming and they're trying to warn everybody. And I was one of the people they were trying to warn, and I look up And I say, what are they screaming? What are they talking about? What on earth is happening? And before you know, I see the sheet of ice, and I'm rolled over on it. And we were, it was such a surreal dream. It seemed like we were in this place that was totally white, and it was almost like if you took a white cabinet and you turned it on its sides, so that the doors are now, the shelves are now running vertically, and some of us were in different ones of these shelves, and we were just, we were absolutely done for. So I would just reiterate that when God's judgment falls on this nation, we will be under martial law, and that means everything will be closed down. Um, all travel, all mass transit, all commerce, all supply chain. So all stores will be shut down. There will be no grocery stores, liquor stores, mom and pop stores, restaurants. There will be nothing left open. And we will be, so you need to prep. You know, I live in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And Cheyenne, Wyoming, um, it's a relatively peaceful place. We do have crime. You know, I follow a news app that focuses specifically on Cheyenne, but there's people in Cheyenne that maybe don't have Newsbreak, it's called, and they think Cheyenne is it's just a little paradise. They think nothing happens here, and they've lived here and they feel so safe. And compared to Los Angeles, they're correct, but stuff does happen here. However, it's nothing compared to Los Angeles, where the open crime, the open violence, etc. So when we are placed under martial law, which we will be placed under martial law. I do not know when. Is it going to be months? Is it going to be years? I don't know. Is it going to be decades? I don't know. But it's going to happen. I suspect it's going to be soon. It's probably between months and years. I suspect. The Lord has not given me a time. But you will not have access to food. Now, the government may issue emergency food rations, but I don't think they're going to be able to reach everyone if they do. So please prep. If you live in Cheyenne or a city like Cheyenne that's relatively peaceful and relatively, has a low crime rate, you will be under martial law for 1 month. If you live in a city that it's just like lawless, okay, and there's rampant crime, like Los Angeles, like Philadelphia, like Chicago, you will be under lockdown for 3 months. Meaning, or you will be under lockdown is a good way of putting it, or under martial law for 3 months. And so our economy, the U.S. economy, will begin to reopen after about a month. And with cities like Cheyenne, where, like I said, it's lower crime rate and there's stability, we'll have access to food after about a month. They'll begin to open stores and they'll begin to start commerce. Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, 3 months. You will not have access to food. You will not have access to grocery stores. There'll be no commerce. There'll be no trade. There'll be no supply chain that will reach you. And put it to you guys like this: whenever there's an emergency, the grocery stores, they hold about a 3-day supply of food. It may seem like they have endless food, but that's because they have a continual supply chain that goes on almost 7 days a week. That's how the grocery stores are able to stay open. But in fact, the grocery stores themselves only hold 3 days worth of food. And whenever there's an emergency, that's how quickly the stores will lose food. Just remember when we initially had the lockdowns under the whole scamdemic, stores began to empty of food, toilet paper. They began to empty. It seemed like it was just like that. That's what's going to come on us. So prepare, save food, toilet paper, any medications. Depending on the safety of the city in which you live, save 1 to 3 months minimum. God bless.